Hello, everyone. Okay, sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Good evening again. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. And then we have come to Train Up a Child Conference 2023, day 3. Okay, and we have our guest in the house already, Mrs. Ogo Ogweli, and she will be talking to us this evening. Yes, we all want to know how we need to empower our children for success. And she's one person that's been dealing with children and doing excellently at that. Okay, she's an inspirational reading coach. She's the author of Dear Child book series. She's the chairman of the Foundation for the Personal Development of the African Child. She's the co-founder of Faith Things and the lead administrator of the Super Kids Academy, a personal development book club for children ages 6 to 16. You are very welcome. You are very much welcome, Ma, to Train Up a Child 2023. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Ma. So the floor is yours now.
Oh, thank you. It's such a privilege to be here. And, you know, when I got the invitation, I was really excited. And
It's a
I said,
bit
I really
low. I don't know.
have a
It's
bit
a bit
low.
low. Mm.
How is it now? Better?
I think you're projecting your voice, so I think it's better.
Okay,
Okay? So, yes,
so
you
I'll
can go on.
off. Um, do I need a mic? Would you like me to use a mic? How is it now? Okay. Oh, let me just go on. Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to be here. When I got the invitation, I felt really honored, and I said I was really going to be here. And I would love to talk about a topic that is really dear to my heart, empowering your child to succeed in life. And I believe I'm talking to parents. So this is a message that, you know, this is something I've lived myself. It's something that I'm living. It's working for me. And I just want to put a few words to share with parents, to encourage them, sharing my own personal story, and hoping that it will be like an encouragement and an inspiration to the hearers. So I have a few points you know to talk about, how you can really empower your children. But before I get into these points, I really want to go back, give you some background information. I started my personal development journey in 2018, towards the end of 2018, and I really got serious in 2019. And I know what that has done for me, because when we talk about empowering our children, we have to start by empowering ourselves, because you can only give what you have. You cannot give what you don't have. So, back to my story on how I started my personal development, journey. Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that break in transmission. So we
Mm,
cannot talk about empowering our children without, you know, talking about empowering ourselves because we can
so,
only give what we have. We cannot
mm,
give what we don't have. The level of empowerment that we started with, started off with, is actually the highest level of empowerment our parents impacted in us. So whatever we have, we start off our lives with is, the highest level that our parents, had. And if you're fortunate to have parents that are really enlightened and empowered, you will see that your life, you actually started, on a higher platform than people in families that do not grow up with empowered parents. So it's so important that we as parents, we start with ourselves
mm,
because parenting is more about modeling. We can talk all we want, but our children are going to do what they see us do. They are going to emulate, our lifestyle, the things that we do. And that's why if you have a family where the mother or father, maybe the doctor or lawyer or something, you see the children, they want to be lawyers, they want to be doctors. And in those families, it's not surprising to actually find children that are actually lawyers and doctors because children always mirror their parents and the example that we set for them. That's why it's so important. It is so important that we as parents are empowered. So going back to my own personal growth story, growing up, I've always, been in a Christian home. My parents were amazing Christians. I grew up loving God, learning, about the word. And even when I got into the university, I was that student that would go to fellowship. From fellowship, you go to the hostel, you go to class. I was a triangular student. So I was very serious with my spiritual growth. And then I got married. I continued on that same path. But when I got introduced to personal development, it really helped me to unlock my potentials. Spiritual growth is amazing, but without personal development, you cannot fully tap into your full potential because you wouldn't have the discipline, you wouldn't have the confidence, you wouldn't have the courage and the audacity to really bring out those things that are in you. That's why we have a lot of amazing, powerful Christians um, that are not skillful or disciplined in different ways or successful, even though they are successful in their spiritual life, but it needs skill, it needs
mm.
discipline to be able to truly accomplish something great in life. So, my journey really led me towards that, but I was really excited to learn about um, self discipline, goal setting, personal values. These are some of the things they don't teach in school, they don't teach in church, sadly. And if your parents do not know it, they will not teach you at home. And sometimes, not that the parents don't know it, but sometimes they actually lack the words to use. For instance, a lot of people my age, like when you interact with them, when I interact with some of the people my age, you know, I get to know that our parents didn't really, most of them, did not really sit us down to talk about sex education, talk about those things. It's not that they didn't know it, but that subject was like a gray area. Um, they just leave it there. They just leave it. Just go and discover yourself. So when it comes to these other subjects of self-discipline, goal setting, it's not that some parents don't know it, but they might lack the words. Like right now, we have abundance of resources, so it's so easy for us to, teach our children. There are so many ways that we can approach it. So when I started, the first thing that was in my mind was, wow, I need to begin to pass on this information to my children because the things I was learning, I thought to myself, if I had known these things, I would have been more intentional. I would have been, made better life choices, things about setting, knowing your personal values. Everybody has values, even coming from your home, there are family values. But the reason why we violate those values is because they are not defined. And once a value is not defined, you find yourself violating it. And then you wonder why you're feeling so bad. If respect is a core value, but it's not defined, you will always find yourself in situations or maybe in relationships with people that are disrespectful. You will not be happy, but you'll be wondering, why am I still here? You will not be able to walk away. But once that value is defined, respect is a core value to me. When you find yourself in relationships that, they are contrary, they are violating your values, it's easy for you to walk away and say, I don't want to be in this place. I don't want to be here. That is a very, very important, reason why we must define our values. And these are the things, these are subjects on personal development. These were things I was learning and I wanted to teach my children. So that is where empowering your children comes. If I didn't know it, I won't be able to impact it. So now I'm learning it. The next thing is to impact. They said if you empower a woman, you've empowered like a community or a nation because a woman will always find a way to impact the same knowledge, onto their children. And once it's impacted, it goes on and on and on. So I started writing, really the things I was learning. I started writing them down in simple formats so that I could be able to teach my children. Because when I started my personal growth journey, my children were a lot more, younger. I couldn't just sit them down and start teaching them how to set goals and how to do all those things. They will forget. So I started writing, mini books on those subjects because I know that once you write something, it becomes legacy. Even when you're not here, the impact will continue. You continue to, the information will continue to pass on to generations, even the ones that are not born. So that is how, I started intentionally empowering myself and then my children. So the reason why I share this short story is, to let us know that you can start from where you are. Start from where you are. I am still a stay-home mom, but because I've, taken that step to empower myself, I've been able to accomplish so much. Even as a stay-home mom, staying at home, I've been able to reach out to so many people, empower my own children. So you can start from where you are, and where you are is the best place. I understand that this community, has a lot of parents, homeschool parents, and stay-home moms. Sometimes you'll be thinking that, oh, my life, what am I doing with my life? My children, they've come and, they've taken over my life. But I dare say that being at home is one of the best things that can happen to you because it gives you the time, it saves you all the stress and distractions going on out there, and it actually gives you the time to invest in yourself first. When you do invest in yourself, it becomes natural to impact it in your children. There are so many things my children do today that I really don't have to sit down to teach them, but because they see me do it, I know that they're going to do it. And for me too, as a child, I'm somebody's child, that there are so many things that I see myself do. And when I look back, I know that my parents actually did these things. So we actually mirror what our parents do, or our guardians, or the people that are, in front of us. So I want to share 4 points on how parents can empower their children to succeed Every dream, the dream of every parent is to have successful children. That is the dream, the ultimate dream of every parent. Whatever sacrifices we are making, send them to school, to do this, to do that, is so that our children will be empowered to be successful in life. So I've shared the first one is to empower yourself, because when you do, it becomes natural for you to do that. When you learn new things, it becomes natural for you to share those things to your children. The second point, second thing that you can actually help, how you can help your child is to help your children to develop success habits. Success habits. Success habits and routines. You know, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people have successful habits and routines that they practice that unsuccessful people do not. So, some of these habits are very simple things like reading. Reading is a success habit. And when I talk about reading, it includes reading academic books, books for entertainment, inspirational books. Because for academic books, if a child does not have a successful or a consistent reading habit, it will be difficult for the child to perform very well in school. So if you can help your child to create, a consistent reading habit, it is very, very important. Through reading, you can expand your children's imagination. This when we talk about inspirational reading or reading for entertainment, you can expand their imagination. They can go to places that they've never been before, just sitting down with a book. They can travel the world. They can learn new words. They can, improve their vocabulary. They can, improve their thinking, their creative, their creative, creative thinking can be improved. Even their imagination. Reading helps to strengthen and enlarge imagination, because when you're reading words, you're actually putting pictures into it. It helps the children to imagine, create, to be creative and imaginative. Another, success habit that we can help our children to, begin to practice is journaling. A lot of people don't talk about journaling, but journaling is a wonderful habit to form. Journaling is simply writing your thoughts down, sharing your thoughts on paper. You know, you can actually, you know, turn it to, to-do list, setting goals, like help your child know that it's okay to plan on paper, to write down your thoughts. You can unburden on paper. Some children may not be able to talk to adults if they feel that it's not safe, but they can actually write, journal. They can journal their thoughts. And the brain doesn't know when you're actually talking to someone or when you're writing down your thoughts, because it's bringing out the information. And once you unburden, you become, you become, lighter. So it's a good habit to teach children. It also, helps them to develop their writing skills, their creative writing. A lot of children from journaling, they become like amazing writers when they start writing stuff, the things, about their day, about their school, just telling general stories. You can just let your child write, how was the holiday? How did you spend your holiday? How was your first time in school? About your best friend. Just write. It's amazing and is a success skill to learn. Another very important success skill or habit is affirmations, confessions. Some people call it confessions, some call it affirmations, declarations. Teach your children to make affirmations, to affirm themselves. Words are creative. God is I am, and I am is creative. We are in the class of God. So when you declare I am, whatever comes after it, you are creating that thing. So help your children to form creative affirmations that they can declare always. These are ways you can help to empower your child. Let them declare to themselves, I am beautiful, I am perfect, I am powerful, I am happy, I am intelligent, I am blessed, I'm a blessing, I'm an excellent child. Just go on and you can, if you're a person of faith like myself, you can go into scripture and begin to find out the new creation realities, who we are in Christ, and begin to, set those declarations and give them to your children to declare every day. When you make those affirmations, you're not just trying to say something that you are not, because this is who you are. You are perfect. We are spirit beings that live in bodies. We have souls and then we live in body. I am not this flesh that you're seeing. This is my body. My real person is invisible, is a spirit being, and I am perfect. So let children know it. And as you declare it, it begins to manifest in their life. This has nothing to do with your looks or any blemish or infirmity or disability. It has nothing to do with that. But as you begin to declare who you really are, you begin to create those things on the outside. So affirmations are very, very important success skills and routine or habit habit to teach your child. As a parent, you should have like a list of affirmation pasted somewhere that your children affirm daily. And don't make it too religious. Put everything that you want. I am abundant. Put those beautiful things that you want. Say those things. Create those things. So the next success habit you can teach your child to help empower your child is goal setting. Goal setting is a skill and also a habit. Habits are things you do so often that they become part of you. So it's a skill and it's also a habit, because if you keep practicing it now, it becomes a habit. So you put it in practice in every area of your life, because there are different areas of a life. It's not just about family or work or career or academic. There are other areas of life, and we need to set goals for those areas. So teach your child how to set goals. You can begin now to teach them, because right now they are, most of the children, they are in school. You can begin to teach them how to set academic goals. If it becomes um, a habit, then when they are older, they can begin to set other goals, career goals, family goals, relationship goals, financial goals, all those goals. Once you begin now, it becomes second nature, becomes a habit, and it's something that will help them. Now, um, goals are things that you want to accomplish by a certain time. And the reason why a lot of people do not, accomplish so much is because they don't know how to set goals, or they don't set goals. There is this study that they had at the Harvard University. You know, Harvard University is a prestigious university, and you would assume that everyone that goes there, is either successful or becomes successful. But they had this study and of a class, and they wanted to know the outcome of the people in this particular class. So they taught them about goal setting. Out of the entire class, 3% of them actually set goals, you know, and wrote those goals down. They set their goals and wrote them down, because goals that are not written down are actually wishes. So they set the goals, they wrote them down, and the other ones, they set the goals, they just made mental image of the goals, and then the remaining, people, they did not even set goals at all. And 10 years later, I think, they tracked all those people down to know how they were doing. And they discovered that the 3% that actually set their goals and wrote them down are earning like 10 times more than all of them. And then there's a 9% that made a mental, image of, took a mental, note of what they wanted to accomplish. And those ones were earning like, you know, we're earning so much more than the people that did not even set goals at all. So goal setting actually keeps us focused. We know exactly what we are doing because when we set goals, we know where we're going. So the last success habit that you can teach your child is visioning. Visioning. This is more like an advanced goal setting, like a vision board. Teach your children how to create vision boards. Let them know that life is not just about here, where we are. There is so much more. When I deal with a lot of young people and I let them understand that this is just a phase of your life, there is so much more. And you need to begin to create the images of those things that you want in your future right now because we are creators. We are the ones that determine what happens to us. Life don't just happen. We create the life that we are living. The life that we are living today, the life that you have today was as a result of your thoughts, your actions of yesterday. And the life that you want to live tomorrow, you can actually begin to program it today by the thoughts and your actions. So visioning is an amazing tool that you can arm your child with. Help your child, create vision boards. Find out what does your child want in the next 10 years. Ask your children questions like this. 10 years from now, how old are you going to be? What will you be doing? Where will you be? If you're going to be in the university, which university are you going to be? What will you be studying? Let them think further than that. Because where our minds cannot go, our bodies cannot go there. Before we can get to anywhere in our bodies, we have to get there in our minds. So vision board, creating vision board, putting pictures of the things that we want in our lives, the person we want to become. Just you can even put pictures of role models, just put them there, the things you want to accomplish, the places you want to go, just put them there and look at them and we become what we behold. So the more you expose yourself to those images, you begin to attract the opportunities that will help you to get there. So this is all about helping your children develop success, habits. So the next point, I said I was going to share 4 points. The first one was empower yourself because you cannot give what you do not have. And the second point is help your children to develop these success habits or skills or tools. Now, the next one is learn to observe your child. One of the major calling, one of your major calling as a parent, one of my major calling as a parent is to observe my children. When you observe them, you begin to, see their potential. Naturally, when children are young, they naturally exhibit their natural gifts and talents. They naturally exhibit it. That's why we see some children say, "Oh, this child is so jumpy," or "You talk too much," or "Your shakara is too much." Children naturally exhibit their, God-given gift and talent because everybody has something special that God placed in them. Everyone has gifts and talents that God placed in them. So when you observe them, you begin to see these things so that you can guide them properly in life. Life doesn't have to be so difficult.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. I'm so sorry. Network.
It's
Okay.
okay. Life doesn't have to be so difficult. Um, there are some adults that you see they are struggling between career, passion, purpose. Oh, they say this one is my career. I do my career Monday to Friday, and then I do my passion on weekends. It's not meant to be that. God wants us to merge career, purpose, passion, everything together. That you'll be working and you don't even know that you're working because you're fulfilling your purpose. You're in your place of calling. And the way that we can accomplish that is to begin to guide our children right from when they are small. You observe them, you see those traits, and you begin to guide them better. You know their strengths, you know their weaknesses. You help them, you guide them. There are children that are so creative, you know. There are children that, why would you, there are technical children, really. Why would you push that technical child to do something that is way outside their, their natural gifting? They will struggle. They will struggle. But when you put those technical children and direct them, push the, guide them in the area of technical courses and everything, you see that they flow, they thrive. Studying academics will not be a problem. They will not be struggling. There are children that are art children, and they are pushed into sciences. There are science children that are pushed into technical or technical classes, or art classes. Like, we as parents, it's our responsibility to observe our children right from when they are young, so that we can guide them aright. And by the time they make those decisions and they are grown ups, they'll be enjoying their life. You know, I used to say that if I had discovered myself early in life, or maybe my parent had really observed me early in life, maybe they would have advised me to go into education, because I am an educator. And but now we know better, we have to do better. So help your children, observe them. When you notice those gifts and talent, don't shut them up. Oh, you talk too much. Maybe that is going to be the next Oprah. You don't know. You have like an amazing communicator in your house, or you jump around too much. Maybe that child is going to be the next Olympian. Child is energetic, is athletic. Maybe this one is the one that just sits on his own studying, and that is an academic. Let us begin to observe these children and don't compare. I have 5 children, and I can tell you they are all different, all 5 of them. And I can't begin to compare, oh, you're not like your sister, you're not like your brother. I'm going to destroy them because they are special and unique you know. So let us not compare our children. You might have two that are very, academic, intelligent in the area of academic, and maybe this one is struggling, and you're comparing. See, your brothers are having A's, and how come? You have no idea different levels or types of academic of intelligence. That child might be very good in the area of emotional intelligence, or creative. So every child is a gift, and they have gifts and talent. So observe their strengths and weaknesses. And while we are working on the weaknesses, let us focus more on the strengths. Let us focus more on the strengths of our children. Yes, we're not saying don't talk about the weakness, don't work on the weaknesses, but focus on the strength. It's not every time you're pouncing on this child. You this lazy, what about the other areas of their life? Let us celebrate their strength. By the time we build their confidence in this area, it will be easy for them to listen when you're trying to make corrections in the other areas. But when you're critical, even when you're giving them good advice, they are not going to hear, and they won't take it, because children want to know that you love them first before they can listen to you. So if they don't think you love them, they won't listen to you no matter how good your advice is. And that's why a lot of children go out and make mistakes, and then they come home crying again, and then you blame them and blame them and blame them. Let us love. I heard Coach Z talked about connecting to correct. You have to connect to correct. And then finally, I want to talk about the power of words, not just the words that we speak to our children, but the words that we encourage them to speak. In my house, there are different battles that we parents fight. I heard a story about a mom that woke um, her 70-year-old son up in the middle of the night flogging the child because the child did not have a night bath. When I heard that story, I was like, that's amazing. Maybe that's her battle. You must have a bath morning and night. And if you don't have a bath, it's a big deal. So people have different battles. But in my house, one of the major battles is the battle of words. I tell my children, this mouth that you have is basically for two major things. And then there's a third one. The first one is your mouth is used to bless yourself. And secondly, you use your mouth to bless your world, bless people around you and your world before you can use it to eat. So words are powerful. This whole world was created with words, and we are made in the image of God. We create our world with our words. So teach your children the power and the importance of words. Not just them. If you don't have a revelation of the power of words, please just go and start buying books about power of words and start reading them. Go to the Bible and type or go to Google and type scriptures on words, the power of words. Life and death is in your mouth. I've heard parents curse their children because of a mistake. Maybe a child broke a plate and you curse the child. A child made a mistake, poured water on the floor, or tore your clothes, or did something that children do. You curse them, you open your mouth, and you to not be well with you. And then you turn around and wonder why your child is not successful. And you blame Nigeria, you blame the economy, you blame the whole world, whereas the problem is your indiscipline, your ignorance, and your lack of self control. Teach your children to bless themselves and to bless others. Let them use right words when they are communicating. You can't just say anything like if it's not wholesome, you don't say it. It's like what I tell my children when you say like, sometimes they go to school, they pick words, they want to repeat it, or they pick words on TV, they want to repeat it. I tell them, you're eating from you're putting poo poo from sock away inside your mouth. Like that's how dirty speaking those words are. So let's teach them to speak wholesome words, to bless themselves. And we as parents, this is a way that we can empower our children to succeed. Bless your children, even when they don't do when they are getting it wrong. Now I'm gonna as I'm rounding up, I'm gonna share a story. I remember when I was in secondary school. I was sent to a boarding school when I was 9 years old, and the boarding school was far away. It was in another state. And my first term in school, I did so well. My result was amazing. And when I came home, my dad was so proud. I saw him. He was so happy. That's my child. That's my daughter. That's parents. So the second term, I don't know what happened to me, but my results were not good. And the fear of disappointing my dad, made myself and my cousin, before we got home, we stopped by somewhere and I mutilated the results. But with my little mature mind, I just went to the section where they put the grades. I just changed where there was D, I would turn it to B. And then I just mutilated the result. I did not look at the figures. I just went straight to the. And I remember when I came home, when I came home and I gave my daddy my results, and immediately my dad saw it. Of course, he see it. I didn't know what I was thinking. My dad was so, disappointed, and he didn't say anything to me. He just waited for my mom to get home and told my mom. And I remember my mom fell on the floor. My mom was crying, fell on the floor. I was just hitting her hand on the floor. It is well with you, this is my child. It is well with those were the words that my mom was saying. I still remember it. And today, like when I look back, I am grateful that even when I was stupid as a child and children do foolish things, that my parents did not cost me because of my foolishness. So take a key from this. Children will be children. They will some really weird things. Don't cost your children. Please have enough self-control to bless them instead. To bless them instead. So I don't know if we have questions. I want to be rounding up now, and if there are questions, hello Z.
Okay. I'm here. All right. Okay, so let's take your questions. Are there any questions? Um, okay, are there any questions? Anyone there with any questions? Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. We have learned a whole lot from what you have been saying. Okay, some of the things that really got to me is one, you said that while working on your child's weakness, focus on their strength. It's very important because sometimes you hear people say, focus on the strength, and all of that. And meanwhile, the weaknesses are still there. But there's a balance to it when you are working on the weakness, because everyone can become better at anything, really. If you put your mind to it, you can improve. That's the truth. So, as you are helping your child with understanding, that that's not their core, because I always teach parents that, and also teach children. Then we have the survival skills, we have life skills and we also have those skills that are going to bring us to the limelight, like our star skills. Okay, and most times your star skills are always fall around your interest. All right, those are the things that will bring you to the fore. But you see, this survival skill is very important, and sometimes that's where our academics fall in. And I tell them, so these survivors, this your academics, and some of these things that you learn. It's just that it's sad the way we teach children some of these things. We don't teach them with practicality. So sometimes the children don't even understand that. I talk like this because I also teach in schools. I teach in schools the love for learning. So this is part of the things that I communicate with the children. So that love, that life skill, that aspect, at least get a little, because I there was a time my son, when I changed some of their textbooks, because during the pandemic we were not able to get some textbooks, shipping some textbooks like we normally do, and so we had to use some textbooks that we bought around. And then my child suddenly said he doesn't like maths. So I had to like go on and start telling him, I said, okay, no problem. But you see, are you okay if your friend, I call his friend's name, counts your money for you, and she tells you how much it is, and she removes some out of it and all of that? And he said, no, 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 that he will learn the maths himself. I said, okay, because it's a life skill. Okay, so I love that balance. It's fantastic. You also talked about the three uses of our mouth, which made me laugh. And yes, the last one is eating, and it's a good thing that we actually talk before we even have breakfast. So what are those things that you say to yourself when you wake up? Do you greet yourself with strong words of affirmation? So it's very good. I love it. I love it. Teaching your children. I'm going to copy and paste and tell them now. Three uses of your mouth. The first one, you need to bless yourself. Yes, we call it affirmation here. But I think the way you just put it is anybody can understand that. Three uses of you bless yourself first, you bless your world, then the last one is for you to eat. Okay. So thank you so much, Ma. I can't seem to see any question. Thank you for coming. We do really appreciate this, honestly. I'm very sure that people are going to watch the replay because they've been doing that for other videos. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much too.
All right. So we
Have a
are going to
wonderful
be going to the
evening.
next. All right, you too. We're going to be going to the next session. The next session is by 8 o'clock.